Today's Spotlight is brought to you in part by presenting sponsor, First Community Financial Bank, the community bank where you come first. You're watching Spotlight, and with me today in studio are April and Shenekia from ChildServ. And we are excited to have you in the studio. I think it's been a while, so we would like you to start out, April, and tell us about ChildServ.
Great. Well, thank you for having us. ChildServ builds better lives for children and families. We've been doing that for 121 years.
Wow.
Right now, we're in Cook, Lake, DuPage, and Kane County. We do early childhood education. We do group homes for teens, and that's what we do in the Naperville area. And we also do therapeutic services and foster care placements.
Okay, that is a long history.
It is. It is. One of our first projects when we got started was as an orphanage. We started out as an orphanage in Lake Bluff. And one of my favorite stories about our beginning is that the first fundraising project that ChildServ did was buying a cow named Buttercup to feed the children, to provide milk for the kids in the home. So
wow,
here we are,
150 years later.
I know, here we are 121 years later, still housing teens, but with a different focus and helping them recover from trauma in a different way.
Okay, fascinating. That's really interesting. Now, Shenekia, in Naperville, and you mentioned that the home's here in Naperville. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing here in Naperville.
Sure. As April mentioned, we do provide a variety of services throughout the community. So here in Naperville, we have a group home which houses 6 adolescent girls, ages usually about 13 up until 18 years old. We provide wraparound services for the youth, anything from 24/7 supervision. We provide case management services and clinical services, as well as we are the advocate parent for those youth within the home.
Okay, so are teens placed into your care, into the home? Is it an elective system? How does that work?
Sure. There is a matching system through the Department of Child and Family Services in which the clients are transitioning to our home. We provide services for within about a year's time frame for those youth within the home.
Okay. Now, you provide services, everything from preparing them for education as well as prospective careers. Give us a little bit of an example of some of the things that you're doing in those areas.
Sure, absolutely. So some of the things that we do, we have life skills for the youth, and it can be on an individual basis or even in a group setting, such as budgeting, healthy living, proper hygiene, preparing for college, healthy relationships with the youth. And again, we also provide clinical services where we have therapists in the home. The therapist is accessible 24/7, but the therapist is there throughout the day to provide clinical services for the clients just as well.
And that's very intense. I mean, that is, as you refer to it, wraparound service. How long might somebody be in the home with you? Does it vary?
On average, we plan for a year to provide the services and provide a little bit more stabilization for the youth. So on average, we do prepare a year. In some cases, a youth may leave a little bit sooner than a year or may stay just a little bit after that year. But we do plan for a year.
Okay, so it's sort of to get them organized and stable. Before they go to the next place. And April, what sort of things are they really learning? I mean, give us an example of how that might work for an individual.
Sure. So having a teen in our group home is not that dissimilar from helping a teen grow up in any other household.
Okay.
So they need to learn a lot of the same life skills. As you grow up, what are you going to do? What's your budget going to look like? You need to maintain your good grades so you graduate. You set boundaries so that they learn what appropriate behavior is. A lot of the same things you learn from your parent, or you and I learned when we were teenagers and in high school and moving toward adulthood. That's the same sort of thing they're learning. It can be as simpler as deciding where you want to go to college. Do you want to go to college, or do you want vocational training because you want a job that's in a different sphere? Those are the sort of things that Shenekia and her staff work on.
Okay.
So that, just like any other teen, we want to make sure they grow up and have that nurturing support system.
Happy and healthy.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then how is the transition out of that system for you? I mean, do you have contact with them once they've left the home?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, they call us all the time.
We're like a family. It's a family.
It becomes a family.
Exactly.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we plan to transition the youth either to a foster home or a independent living setting. But once the youth transition out of our home, we do maintain contact with the youth on a regular basis.
Okay. Can you give us an example of a success story? Somebody that you, names not to be used, but you know, an example of somebody who's come through your system that you feel, wow, this really showcases what we do.
Sure, absolutely. One of the young ladies that had come to the home was removed from the home due to neglect and such, and not necessarily being supervised within the home. So obviously transitioning to us, not knowing us, she had some trust issues and really didn't want to develop that relationship initially with us. She would run away and leave the home at times. She would still come back and forth, but again, because she didn't want to build that relationship, she would leave. She saw that we were that stable environment for her, but she wasn't used to that, so she would take off. But over time, she did develop that relationship with us. She graduated from Naperville Central and actually attends UIC.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. That must make you feel so good.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
If I can brag for a moment,
Please
for the
do.
second year in a row, all of the young adults in Sheneka's program are graduating high school on time.
That's tremendous. Congratulations.
Thank
I
you.
mean, to you and to them, because it's work for them as well, right? Yeah, they've got to
Absolutely.
put in the effort. That's great. Now, tell us a little bit, April, what could viewers do to help ChildServ? I mean, what are some of the ways that the community can come together and be of service to you?
So there are three major ways that folks can get involved in the area to help these young people grow into adulthood. The first is dollars. Donations always are helpful. You can donate at childserv.org. You can volunteer, come help us out with landscaping or drop off a meal for the young people in our homes, or you can mentor. Mentoring is an amazing way to help someone who's gone through a difficult past find their way to adulthood and figure out what they want to do and really give them that encouragement to make it happen. For that opportunity, they can give us a call or visit our website as well.
Okay, and then is there training? How does that work? Do they get training, then do they get matched, or how does that work for you?
Absolutely. They start by calling us.
Okay.
We talk to them about their interest and their availability. They do have to have a background check because we want to make sure all the kids in our youth homes are safe.
Absolutely.
And then from there, we get them some training. They meet Shenekia and go through the process. And then we'll arrange a meeting and they can start meeting with the young people weekly or bi-weekly and just help them develop a life plan and cheer them on as they go through this.
That's wonderful. I love those two things that you said, having a life plan and having a cheerleader. Those are two important things for everybody to have. So
Exactly.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you for all the good work that you're doing here in Naperville. We really appreciate it. And if you would like to learn more about how ChildServ is putting kids and their families first, please visit their website. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back with more Spotlight, so stay with us.